Yo, the struggle of trying to get this video to do what it needs to do. Sorry for the late video, y'all, but welcome back to AAB TV, Authentically RGB TV, and we're back for another Abbott Elementary recap. So let's go ahead and get into the video, y'all. All right, y'all. So we open up with Jacob's class, and they are talking to him about this show called The Silly Sock Puppet Show. And they think it is just the most hilarious um, show on the planet. And he's not feeling it. He doesn't, you know anything about it. And he's basically like, they're basically just telling him about it, and they're like, this is like the latest trending show, and he's just like, isn't there any more substance to what y'all watch? And the class is just like head over heels in love with this show. So then we go to this assembly, which we did not know, but Jacob had applied for a program called Mural Arts, where there's people that come and they allow the kids to come up with an idea to paint a mural to, kind of put into like a picture form of what legacy means to them, that class for that year. And so while everybody's getting prepared for this particular assembly, we see Janine and Greg, and we all know what happened last time at the conference, y'all. They had a little kissy kiss. And so Janine is adamant, keeps saying, things are not awkward between them. But clearly it is. Even Barbara and Mel sitting in the audience realized how awkward they were acting and goofy they were acting towards each other. And so from then on, again, Jacob introduces the Mural Arts Philadelphia team. And again, he's been applying for this, for the chance for them to come to Abbott Elementary for a few years. They finally did, and they chose his class. And they're going to paint this mural with his class after they come up with this idea about what legacy means to them, what type of legacy they want to leave there. And Jacob is like super, super excited about it. Ava's introducing them, don't even halfway know who the people are. Keeps thinking that they gonna come and paint her house all these different colors throughout the episode, y'all. She was a mess. Um, and so, the Mural Arts of Philadelphia people, they come and they speak and they tell the kids, we're going to give you a chance this entire week to come up with what legacy means to you. And I want you to guys to like come together, give us your ideas, pick one, and we'll get started on that. And so, from then on, the kids just go with the flow. So later on, at the end of the day, we see Erica, which we all know is Janine's friend. And she sees Greg in the hallway, and she kind of has that, like, I know the tea between you and my friend kind of vibe. So then she goes off into Janine's classroom, and she's like, oh my gosh, like, you right here, right next to your boo, to your crush, and y'all done kissed, and all these things. And so Erica just begins to talk to her, and Janine lets her know, like, hey, I think I'm gonna break it off with Mo. I just don't think we're clicking. Plus, if I really liked him like that, like, I wouldn't have kissed Greg. And then she's like, girl, please don't do that. Like, I think you're going to hurt his feelings, and I think it can mess up their friendship. I just think you just don't have to be honest. But Janine was just like, no, I want to be honest. Like, I want to tell him the truth. And Erica's like, that's a bad idea. Like, sis, don't do it. And she's just like, you just need to, just end it. Don't tell him no details. And I promise you, everything's going to be okay. So as Erica leaves, we get to see Barbara and Mel. And Mel comes up in this like lightweight panic. And she's like, oh my gosh, have you seen this email? I just got this email. Barbara's like, what are you talking about? So it's an email that she received about a petition that parents from Abbott Elementary have came up with to get Abbott Elementary to turn into a charter school by the company Legendary that we saw a while ago, a few episodes ago. Because they want to, make it a charter school like Addington, the enemy school or whatever, however you want to put it. Which we all know last episode, Mel's sister, she came to the school in her disguise and let her know like that was like a rumor that they wanted to handle that and get that done. So Barbara just like, no, we're gonna put a stop to this. Like that can't happen. So up walks Ava, and she's like kind of intrigued by the conversation, and Mel is like, what are we going to do? How are we going to get this like figured out? How are we going to fix this situation? Because that is something we do not want to happen. And so they see all of the things that the parents have started online, like I said, the petition and the comments and how people have voted for it. And so Barbara decides, well, her and Mel, they both decide to call the number and gain more information. And Barbara used her Jamaican accent, which we all know is Shirley Ralph is actually Jamaican. She used her accent to disguise her voice to gain more information, and they said they would send it to the school. So at this point of the day, Jacob and Janine and Mr. Johnson, they're all three in the teacher's lounge, just basically having a conversation about what legendary means to them. And all the while, Janine's like, wait, why are you in here, Jacob? And he tells her that his kids are in the room with the mural arts people coming up with their legacy mural idea. And he doesn't want to interfere with any of their ideas. He wants them to come up with the best idea that best suits them. And the mural arts guy comes in and tells like, hey, we come up with the decision. I want you to see it. So he's super excited because he has like all the faith in the world that it's going to be just the best. He's like super excited about it. And we, just basically he just wants to make sure that his children in his class come up with something that is going to benefit them in the long run. Nothing that they're going to be embarrassed about when they come back to the school or have to walk through the hallways, as eighth graders or adults that may teach in the school, or come back to visit. He wants them to come up with something that's like super, super dope. And he even mentioned how Janine had mentioned the mural that she had when she was in school, and how he assumed basically that she loved it every time she rode past it. And then we see that Barbara and Mel and Ava, they are having a discussion as well about why they don't want Abbott to turn into a charter school. And they begin to talk about, Mel begins to talk about basically, they don't make sure that the teachers are certified. Barbara's talking about funding for the school and how they take it away, because they're quote unquote the better option, and public school suffers for that. And all the while, we know Ava, she's all about, the glow up, as she put it. And she's like, I don't know, it doesn't sound too bad to me. So y'all better get prepared, because y'all need to be ready for this Abbott Elementary glow up, honey. They giving us free money. They doing this, they gonna be doing that. Like, it don't sound like a bad idea. And Mel and Barbara just like, oh my gosh, like, I do not want this to happen. And even one of the teachers made the comment that a lot of the students that go to Abbott now wouldn't be able to go to the school if it became chartered due to, a plethora of reasons. And they're just like, we have to really come together on this, because this is not a good idea. This is going to be bad for the neighborhood. It's going to be bad for our students, horrible for our parents. Like, let's figure out what we can do. So while Jacob's in his class and he's with the students in the Mural Arts of Philadelphia group, they decide to reveal their legacy idea, which again, you all, is basically, I think, a mural of the park, or a park, and it has sock puppets in it. And the look on Jacob's face was like, y'all can't be serious. And they were super excited about it. They put all their heart and soul into coming up with this idea, because again, like I said, they love this, silly sock puppet show, and it's all the rage. Even the teachers and Mr. Johnson and the Mural Arts group, they all knew about it. And they're like, just like, this is what we decided to do. Like, aren't you happy about this? And he's just like, I cannot believe y'all did this. Like, this is a joke, right? So then afterwards, he goes in the hallway, and again, he's talking to the Mural Arts person, and he's just like, please give us another chance to come up with an idea, because this is not it. I wanted them to do something totally different, and this is not what I thought they were going to do. And he's like, we're only here for a little while, so I'll give you another chance. Come up with what y'all can come up with, and I'll see y'all later. Meanwhile, Greg's in the hallway just, fiddling around, and in comes Mo. He's surprising Janine with lunch, and he just wanted to see her. And Greg and Mo have a conversation, because again, Greg knows, I just kissed your girl or whatever. And so we learned that they haven't talked to each other. And Mo's like, oh, so you're alive. Like, where you been at, bruh? And he's just like, I just been busy, kind of brushing him off or whatever. Because, of course, it would be, or it is awkward if like, you done mess with your friend's girl and now you got to act like nothing ever happened. And so they have a quick discussion. Mo comes in again, surprises Janine with lunch, and Janine, is just like, hey, I want to talk to you. Like, let's go on a date. And they decide to meet up at their favorite restaurant, Bone Town, which is hilarious. If you all saw the video, y'all know why. And so he's like, yo, this what's up. Like, we'll meet there, dating time, see you later. And the whole time, like Greg and Janine, like I said, they speak to each other, they interact with each other, but it's still that lingering, like, we got to tell him, we got to tell him. And again, like Janine's friend Erica told her, like, don't do it because it's going to mess up the relationship with Greg and him. And then also it's going to hurt his feelings. And then I know that there's things that's going on inside of Greg too, because again, that's his homeboy. And he's just like, just a whirlwind of emotions is going on at the particular time. So we see that Jacob is again talking to his classroom about this legacy idea, and they're adamant about keeping it, and he's adamant about changing it, and that's pretty much that. And he's like, y'all, let's come up with a better idea. So that's what they do. At this particular time, Greg goes to talk to Janine and is like, hey, I feel bad about the kiss. Maurice is my friend, and she's like, I feel bad about the kiss too, but I also want you to know that I am going to break it off with him because, I don't feel like we're clicking, and if we were clicking, I wouldn't have kissed you anyway. And I feel like that was kind of like a dig, or that's how Greg took it, because he was like, oh, like, like basically saying like the kiss didn't mean anything, but to him it probably did. And so he's like, look, I know that you want to break it off with him. And she's like, yeah, and I'm going to tell him about the kiss. And he's just like, wait, I feel like because you're going to be breaking up with him, you don't really have to talk to him anymore. But because he's my friend, I want to tell him what's up. I want to tell him what happened. And she's like, well, I'm already going to be meeting him at Bone Town, which, again, if you watched the video, y'all saw how hilarious that was every time they heard the word Bone Town. And he was just like, he was just like, well, why don't we just go together? And she was like, okay, that's cool with me. We can go together. And that was that on the whole kiss situation. So Ava comes in again with the Mural Arts group, and they are excited to see what Jacob and his kids have come up for the second time for this mural about legacy. And so Jacob presents what it was, which it was like this tree. I want to say sycamore. I don't know. Forgive me if I'm wrong. And it's like representing all of the different parts of Philadelphia, and Ava's like, okay, cool. And then she realizes like the kids aren't excited like they were before, and the kids were like, we didn't want this. Like, he basically wanted this and told us we had no other choice. And so the mural arts guy was just like, well, that's not going to work, because the whole point is to come up with work with the kids to see what they want, to have their ideas, not your own. So Jacob is kind of like, feeling like, oops. And the kids are, and then the guy was just like, we only here for, the end of the week, and we don't have time. So I'm sorry, you're just going to have to do it last year. And one of the kids is like, we're not going to be here next year. Like, oh my gosh. And another kid's like, thanks a lot, Mr. C's, which they call Jacob. And Jacob begins to feel terrible about what he did. So while on break, Jacob decides to watch the Silly Sock Puppet Show. And Mel is in there, and she's like, you've never heard of that show? And he's just like, I don't get it. Like, I'm trying to enjoy it. I'm trying to see what the whole excitement about this show is about, but I don't understand it. And she's like, that's the point. Like, you're not supposed to really understand it. It's just another trending show, like it was when you was a teenager or a little child in school, just like it was when Janine was in school and all that other stuff. And he's just like, well, Janine said she loved her mural, and she's like, no, I didn't. I don't even realize know why we decided to have that as our mural either. But again, that was a trending cartoon and idea, so we decided to do it. And I can't believe, like, we really used to like that stuff. And so then Mel makes this like pivotal comment that helps Jacob see like his wrong in the situation in a way that he can incorporate the now and the future, and incorporate something that he would like and the kids would like as well, so that they can get this mule taken care of. And then he's like, but it's too late, and he's already, the mule people are already gone. And then Mel's like, look, don't count yourself out too quick. I got this. I bet you I know a way to get it, which we all know. All she got to do is put that extra male juice on it, and she's gonna make things happen when they happen. And so later on after that, there's a parent that shows up to the school, and she's so upset because her son that once was at Abbott, that went to Addington Charter School, is getting kicked out. And there's Ava there, Barbara, and Mel, and she's reading, whatever they said on the paper. And one of the teachers is basically like, yeah, he didn't, he messed up their test scores, so they're kicking him out. And she's like, is there any more room for him here at Abbott? And all of a sudden there was like this change in Ava, and she's like, yes, it's room here. Like, I like your son, and he's welcome back whenever, consider him enrolled. And she's like, oh my gosh, she's gonna be so excited. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And at that particular moment, Ava's like, y'all, you know what? Whatever we gotta do, we're gonna do it, because it's a new leash on life, and Abbott is not becoming charter, because all of these test scores and all the other stuff, that don't matter. And what matters is about the teachers and, the students and their relationships and all of those, good things that, we know about school. And so Mel and Barbara is excited, and Barbara tells us, like, welcome to the team, because we're not going to let these things happen. So y'all, now we are at Bone Town. And we see Mo, he's sitting there waiting for Janine. To his surprise, Janine's walking in with Greg. So they finally break the news off the back of some like awkward, interactions at first. And Mo took it very good. Like, he was just like, oh, it was a staff getaway, y'all had a couple of drinks, like, I done, did my thing too. So, I understand. And they was just like, okay. So then right after that, Janine breaks the news that she doesn't want to talk to him anymore. And then we see this like shift in Mo, and he's like, oh, y'all sick. Like, y'all came here to tell me that you just wanted to break up with me in front of Greg. Like, wow. And then basically after that, he just like, deuces, like, get out my face. And they both walked away. And, I believe that's not going to be the end of Mo. Maybe he's going to try to get his girl back. Maybe he's going to try to just, like, be horrible and try to get both of them back. Who knows? So they were both relieved that they got that off their chest, I'm sure. But poor Maurice, he was like, I can't believe I did it. And then they just left the restaurant. So after we see all of that, we get to finally see the reveal of the mural, because again, Mel worked her sauce and got the mural arts group back. And Jacob had everybody in the hallway. And at first glance, everybody was like, oh, wow. So you went back to the silly sock puppet, mural. And he was like, no, take a closer look. It's a mosaic piece. And each piece had each piece of towel had a picture of each one of his students in the class that represented what they wanted to be in the future, or a job or career that they wanted to have, so that it could like incorporate their future self with what they like now. And it would be like something for them to be proud about, to kind of like look at in the future to see if they followed the career path or those dreams that they once had when they were in whatever grade that Jacob teaches. And again, it was to basically like Melissa had said on her comment, she said that, you got to respect their now, which again was a silly sock puppet, like how they are now, while also preparing them for their future. And that's what teachers do, you know what I'm saying? And that was the pivotal comment that I mentioned before that she made that helped Jacob come to his senses about this whole mural thing and get out of his class's way, because again, he wanted it done his way. And tried to basically take over. And so everybody was like so proud about it, and they loved it, and it turned out really, really well. I love the mosaic pieces as far as like the towels, and one kid wanted to be the first president astronaut and a doctor or a teacher, like that. It was really cute. I was like, I could see something like that in the school if it's not already now. And then y'all, at the end, everybody's taking this silly sock puppet personality test to see which sock puppet they get, and some of the people agree and some of the people like Greg disagreed. And so again, this was the end of the episode. And if you all like this episode as much as I did, let me know, what do you think is going to happen between Greg and Janine? What do you think is going to happen between Greg, Janine, and Maurice? And what do you think is going to happen as far as Abbott turning into a charter school? Do you think that that legendary guy is going to come back and really try to, strong arm them, or what? They better leave Abbott Elementary as it is, no charter schools. But that was it, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed this recap, and I will see you again next week. Again, I apologize for how long it is taking to get this video up, but nevertheless, it is done, and I'll see y'all next week. Peace.